You're watching Fox 13, the most powerful name in local news.
Well, the new year is here. It is the time to celebrate and think about what is in store for the year ahead. And several new laws go into effect today on January 1st. And we're joined this morning by a man who knows a lot about laws because it's his job, attorney Felix Vegas with us. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, Kristen. Glad to be here this morning.
All right. Well, it's January 1st, and so that means a lot of legal changes. Let's start with unemployment benefits. This one affects a lot of people, of course.
Definitely. This is a big change that's going into effect here in Florida starting today. Unemployment benefits have gone down from 26 weeks to 23 weeks that people are going to be able to collect starting in the new year. And take a look at some of the numbers we have right here. That works out to about $275 a week for a total of about $6,325 for that 23-week period.
Okay.
The bigger change is actually what these numbers are based on, because it's actually going back to the previous year's unemployment rates. So for example, they're basing this on the third quarter unemployment. It's a snapshot, if you will, from July through September the previous year. So now what that means for people in Florida, it's you don't just get 23 full weeks of unemployment. If unemployment stays at 10.5% or higher, you get the full 23 weeks. If it goes down to 5%, you're capped out at 12 weeks of unemployment. So people are thinking, I'm unemployed, I'm going to get all my benefits all in one lump sum. Not the way it's going to work. And they'll add back another week for every percentage point, half a percentage point above that 5% floor. So a lot of people weren't aware of that, and that's why we wanted to share that this morning.
That will be hard for a lot of people. Now, in the new year, there is good news for minimum wage workers.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us about this change.
Well, this is a good change for people here in Florida because Florida actually has a different minimum wage system than the federal government. Federal government sets it at $7.25 per hour. Here in Florida, it's actually going up to $7.67 an hour. That's up from $7.31 last year. Now, the other thing, good news for the service industry, bartenders, waitresses, waiters, they're going to see an increase to $4.65 an hour as well for their base salary. Now,
that's great, because years ago it was $2 and something. When
exactly.
I was a waitress.
I mean, I was never a waiter or waitress, but I remember like it's horrible, and that's good news for people in the service industry. Like I said, both of those rates are actually up a full $1 from 2007. The reason why is in Florida, they set a rate back in 2004 that the minimum wage would need to increase every year as opposed to the federal government. The last increase we saw there was 2009. Like I said, $7.25 an hour is the minimum wage across the rest of the country. So good news for people in Florida.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up in the end.
It makes a difference. It does. And this is an interesting one. Sharks, we talked a little bit about this earlier. In the new year, we're seeing new laws to protect them?
Yes, the Fish and Wildlife Commission actually in November passed new laws regarding shark fishing here in Florida and protects a specific group of hammerhead sharks, 3 different species. They're the great hammerhead, the scalloped hammerhead, and also the smooth hammerhead. They were added to the protected and prohibited species. Basically, when you go fishing, it's basically a catch and release program, and people need to be aware of that. There's a lot of regulations. The government, you touched on it a little bit in the 6 o'clock hour, but if you go on myfwc.com, that's the Fish and Wildlife Commission website, they have all the information. They even have charts that you can download that have all the information and tell people what the different types of sharks are. Take this on the boat with you because you don't want to be caught coming back into the Bay Area with one of these sharks or other fish that are prohibited. Always check FWC's website. They have all the regulations, and if in doubt, you need a fishing license, get one. They're only $37. You can get one at your local tag office. I'm going fishing in May, so I already got one.
Be careful.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I know it's very early on a New Year's Day, so we appreciate you.
Glad to be here, Kristen.
Okay, thanks, Felix. Well, Bucks fans are watching very closely today, watching those sidelines because